So today is part 2 of Brandon Woodward, the neighbour. You ready to get going?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get out.
Everybody was checking in on them. How's Maya? What's going on? And kind of the answer was, we don't really know. So I think it's just something you do as parents. How's your kid? You constantly ask and check in. I revert back to, our kids were at the bus stop at the same time too.
Right.
So when you walk down to the bus stop, or just when we take our dog out for a walk, they're always outside. You pass them. What's going on? How are you? How are the kids? How's Maya? That just became daily talk.
Just from the reference point of July 4th time period up to Christmas and after, did you ever see Maya out? And if you did, was she walking or was she in?
No. Wheelchair is all I remember. And if we were at Jack's house, inside the house, there wasn't walking. She'd use her arms to move around and kind of crawl up to, onto a couch, onto a seat. There wasn't.
Okay. And so did there come a time when you saw or understood that the Kowalskis were leaving for Mexico for
Yes.
treatment?
Yeah, so I can't remember the exact timeline. A little bit later in the year, they had a doctor that was helping Maya. They were very hopeful. My wife actually went over to see her the day before they flew out.
Mm-hmm. They gone for a while?
I want to say it was a full week.
Okay. All right.
From what I remember.
All right. And then once they came back, did you have an opportunity to periodically, on a regular basis, see Maya over the course of the spring of 2016?
Yes, often.
Tell the jury about what, if anything, you noticed about her condition.
She seemed to be getting better, and in my opinion, just after looking in, not knowing all the details, this one treatment she went and had, I thought that was it, the one treatment, one and done, and she's on the mend and better.
But still in a wheelchair. But
still in a wheelchair, but
overall physical
strength
health
getting better. She liked to get in the pool. I believe they put in solar just to keep the pool water warmer and more comfortable, so she could keep getting strength back in legs.
Got it. Okay. And so then through the course of that year, did there come a time when you had another July 4th parade in 2016?
Every year we had one, yes.
And was that filmed?
Yes.
And with the court's permission then, we would publish the video from 2692 in evidence? Now if you could narrate a little bit here.
So this looks like the very start of the parade. That's Jack kneeling down in the black and white shirt taking pictures.
This is the neighborhood?
This is the neighborhood. That's actually my house straight in the middle.
Okay.
Maya's driving the golf cart right in the middle.
Okay, let's come forward.
Our other mutual friend is riding in the passengers up front.
Okay. Now Maya's able to sit up there?
Yeah, she drove the golf cart all the way around.
So
she couldn't ride the bike this year, so our friend Pat, that was, I believe, his a golf cart he got from work. So he brought that just so Maya could be a part and drive around.
So she was strong enough by July to press down on the pedal there in the golf cart pedal?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor.
What if anything,
Hold on a
should you,
second. What's the legal basis?
Lack of knowledge.
Of her oath.
from what you observed, was she able to press down on the pedal?
Yes.
Golf cart. Keep going, please. All right. These are neighbors?
Some more neighbors. That's my daughter right there. More neighbors in the back.
And they're
This is me in the gray shirt coming up. That's my real little daughter. I'm walking behind right there.
Jack's discovering humidity. Is this the Kowalski's house?
No.
Okay. Where's the Kowalski's house from here?
From this image, it's, well, hold on. Go straight down to your right. It's out of frame, but right to the right.
Okay. similar to these?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So, now after this, when was the next time that you remember something happening with Maya? Did she continue to be around the neighborhood, or did she disappear again?
No, we see her often. A lot of the neighborhood get-togethers kind of filtered more back to Jack's house, though, because for Maya to go anywhere, it was wheelchair.
Okay.
But yeah, we see her often.
In the fall then of 2016, did there come a time when Maya again left to go to the hospital, in this case Johns Hopkins?
Yes.
All right. And were you there and around the time when she was going off to the hospital?
Yes.
Was there any weather event that was causing, or that not causing, but a weather event around that time that you recall?
I don't recall.
All right. Hurricane Matthew, do you recall when that came through?
I do, kind of.
They blend together.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Okay, so when was the next time that you really recall seeing Maya?
I don't recall seeing her until after she came home from the several-month hospital.
Okay, so would this have been into the new year then, into January?
So my youngest daughter, her birthday's December 28th. We had a birthday party for her after New Year's, so it was right after that, early January.
Okay, and then was there any type of reception or thing that went on for Maya, to the best of your knowledge?
Yeah, so there was I think everybody that lived in the neighborhood, they knew when she was coming back. A lot of people made signs and banners, especially the kids.
Let me show you, if we could, 26, either 82, is it 2? Sorry, 2582. Is it 002 or 3? 2? That's the photo. All right. So, is that the photo of the reception?
So this is right at the entrance of the neighborhood, and yep, that's right when they pulled in.
Okay, and then 003, 2582, 003, if we may publish. And what is this?
Welcome home sign.
Okay, and then we previously shown you, but with permission, Judge, we would like to publish 2710, if you could.
Yes.
Thank you.
Remember when you gave her that whole bag of Shopkins? Say, Maya, we are so excited to see you. So thankful you're home.
Okay. Now, after this, were you there when they tried to get Maya out of the car?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that.
Well, that day and many after, she couldn't. She had no strength. There was pretty much no muscle to her legs. Jack had to pick her up and put her in a wheelchair and push her around, pick her up to move her anywhere or anything, not just in and out of the car.
Was she able to keep herself upright without people holding her, hugging her, or otherwise?
No, not really. I remember when she'd sit on the couch, she had to put pillows on both sides of her too.
All right. Compared to when you had last seen her leaving for the hospital to the time that you saw her, can you, the time you last saw her leaving to go to Johns Hopkins to the time, this period, this time right here, the homecoming, can you describe to the jury the change, if any, in Maya?
The only word that really comes to my mind is emaciated. So I was over their house a lot. And like I said, especially after she came home from the hospital, hopping from house to house was a bit more of a challenge. So I think Jack was happy to have some company in his house too. So I saw a lot of Maya. Very, very thin. Like I said, no muscle mass in her legs at all. No color. No strength to her arms. She couldn't do anything.
What was your, go ahead.
I remember her texting from her bedroom to Jack if we were in the kitchen. That's how she'd get a hold of him. Hey, I need, help moving or going to the shower, bathroom, whatever. Jack literally had to go physically pick her up and do everything with her.
So you didn't see any improvement whatsoever when she got back from Johns
No.
Hopkins? Did she go get better or get worse from Johns Hopkins?
Definitively worse.
And so, what, if anything, crossed your mind about how, given what you were seeing, this child's future be held physically?
Objection, relevance as to his opinion.
Sorry, ask the question again?
Sure. From her condition, right, when she came home, what, if anything, what, if any, concerns did you have about Maya's future physically?
That was a long road. So when she first went and got the first treatment in Mexico and came back, like I said, my personal opinion of not knowing any details of the treatment or her, what the disease was, I had this impression it was this one and done, and she's better because she was getting better so much quicker, getting strength back and getting back to normal. When she came home from the hospital, I can't tell you a set time, but I just remember it was such a long road for her to be able to do anything physically. Months and months.
And did there come a time when you saw her graduating from a wheelchair then to crutches?
Yes.
And was that a significant period of time?
All driven by Maya. I remember Jack saying she's bound and determined to not only walk again, but I think she wanted to ice skate, and I thought maybe there was something else she wanted to do physically, like, I don't know, gymnastics or something, but hard work by Maya.
Mm-hmm. And then eventually, was there another period of time when Maya began to try to graduate from the crutches to walking?
Yes. I mean, that was always the goal for her. She had her sights set on getting totally back to normal, so.
And was Maya the type of child that would instantly tell you if she was hurting, or was she quiet about something?
I never heard her complain about anything.
No matter what?
Never.
Okay. And let's talk a little bit about Beata over this period of time from when Maya went off to Johns Hopkins until the end there. Were you seeing the Kowalskis, that being, I guess it would be Kyle and Beata and Jack, over that period of time, the fall of 2016, while Maya was gone?
Yes.
How often did you see them?
Same deal. I think Jack was outside even more if he wasn't doing something, working on with, trying to get Maya, just occupying his brain.
Mm-hmm.
So still a lot.
What was the effect on Beata as time went on?
Absolute crushing stress. The whole family.
Was there a change in her personality from what you saw?
She became a lot more reserved, at least, for me.
Was she becoming more withdrawn?
Yes.
Did she have the same sense of humor that you had?
No, completely gone.
And between Jack and Beata, first, how often were you seeing them in any social modes? As much or more or less?
No, not as much. We all knew this was going on, where, again, this crushing stress thing of trying to get their kid back. So, it wasn't.
Were you
I
there?
think a lot of us felt odd saying, "Hey, let's go party." That wasn't
Sure.
happening.
As a couple, were they more withdrawn?
Yes.
And at least in front of you, I don't know if you saw this or not, but did there appear to be any stress there, or either individually or collectively?
I can't really speak to that. All I can tell you is, again, the best way for me to describe it is just this crushing stress on the family and the household. Whether there was additional between Jack, Kyle, Jack, Beata, or whatever, I can't specifically state.
Well, was there any particular event where you recall seeing either on a holiday or just a regular weekend event or something where you saw something that indicated to you just how bad it was?
Yes. We had a New Year's party with a couple of those houses with a couple of neighbors that were previously mentioned we're really tight with. So the next door neighbor to Jack had just a handful of couples over for New Year's Eve, and at midnight when the bell dropped, Beata just broke down, completely broke down.
Describe it for us a little bit. What was she doing, and then how did it come about?
You know, the ball drops, you usually kiss your spouse or say Happy New Year, and she lost it. So just started crying. All the other females tried to console her.
And so that was not such a good New Year's Eve. Now, Kyle, as long as you have known him, has he been a bodybuilder type or more on the thin side?
Always.
Good. And there was an allegation about malnourishment or some idea that these children were not being properly fed or kept. Can you tell?
To the commentary by the attorney.
Sustained.
Tell the jury about how Jack and Beata took care of these kids in terms of feeding them, taking care of them, making sure they had exercise, making sure they were always provided for.
Well, when we go to the bus stop in the mornings, on the walk back, my kid would always run into Jack's house because he had always had good snacks in the cupboard, and he'd always have extras to share. So the cupboard was always fully loaded. So my kids would steal little snacks from Kyle, and I guess Maya, she ate them too. But Kyle was always outside. I think he's still outside all the time. Other boys in the neighborhood, they play football, baseball together, but always doing something physical. And when they were little, I actually remember, I'd be in Jack's driveway talking to him, and they'd be playing football and picking teams. And I distinctly remember kids always wanting Kyle on their team because he was one of the better ones. You'd win if you had Kyle on your team.
Now, do you remember the night that Beata died?
Yes.
Was there any event that reminds you of that night?
So my youngest daughter's birthday is December 28th. Kids are out of school. They go out of town for Christmas and New Year's, so we always have to have her birthday party in January. So we have her birthday in January when there's actual kids that can come. We have the same group of friends from neighbors from over. And Jack and Kyle came that night, but Beata did not.
Okay. Anybody asking where she was, or any excuses or anything? Or just...
Yeah, we asked, and didn't feel good or headache, and she sent a gift. She went out and bought a gift for my daughter and sent a gift.
Okay. And what was the next thing you knew or saw or heard about Beata?
Well, on Sunday, that was a Saturday night. Sunday mornings, I wake up, go out and get breakfast for my wife and kids early, and on the drive back in, when I left, everything was normal. When I drove back into the neighborhood, there was, 10, 12, 15 police cars at Jack's house with EMTs.
Did you go in?
I did not go in the house.
Okay.
Jack was outside in the driveway.
Did you see Jack?
Yes.
What was his condition?
Distraught, crying.
Mm-hmm. All right. How long were the police cars there? Do you recall? A long time?
Hours, many hours. I got out, gave him a hug, told him if he needed anything, call me, and then
Did you see Kyle?
I did not see Kyle.
He had gone by that point, or been taken, or?
I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure if he was in the house or if he left.
Now, we've gone over the reunion party, but can you tell us a little bit about what it's been like for Jack first? We'll strike that. Did you see Jack very much immediately after, in the period immediately after Beata passed?
Yes. Still saw him a bunch.
Tell us about that.
It was more just trying to console a friend.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to intrude, but you want them, you
Let
want
them
them
know.
to family to know you're there.
Yeah. And was he striking? Have you noticed any changes in Jack afterwards in terms of his, not so much about taking care of the kids, but just he himself and his enjoyment of life or his activities?
I mean, yeah, the whole family.
Tell us about it.
Well, I don't know how to put that into words. It's just completely life changing. Just things are different. The whole family's just great, super caring family, but something just happened where it's just different now. They're still great people, but
And so you're still good friends.
yes,
You still will have some of his wine.
still do.
And
Still enjoy
I
it.
understand there's controversy about his wine now.
I think it's just with you.
I'm the only one that doesn't like
Yes.
Jack's wine, so that's better. In any event, to this day though, is there still a change in Jack from what you knew before?
Yes, but like I said, it's difficult to put into words. If you've ever watched, I mean, the family's changed.
Mm-hmm. And do you see Maya or Kyle as much anymore?
See Kyle often when he's washing his boat after he goes fishing.
Mm-hmm.
So he's still outside, but he's not playing football in the front yard anymore.
Okay.
Maya
activities
babysits
are
our
a little
kids. She's been doing that for a couple of years.
Okay. And does Jack come around as much on the social scene, or is he
Yeah, we still hang out a lot.
try to keep him going?
Yep.
Your witness.
Good morning, sir.
Right, so this is bad pause. It's not. There we go. That's better.
The papers, man.
Yeah.
Oh God.
What I find really weird with that, I can't remember if I mentioned it before, if you mentioned it before. The witness's mic is quieter than the mic on the stand,
Hmm.
and the hospital's mic isn't even on, which I find really strange. Maybe they don't have one there, but then it's kind of, it'll be up to the judge to ensure that he hears it.
Yeah.
And what if the stenographer doesn't hear it? It's not gonna have an accurate report.
No.
Like the transcript isn't gonna be accurate. I mean, he's a really good witness. This guy. He's a good witness for the Kowalski family. Did you notice when Maya's lawyer brought up about when Beata died?
No. Yeah.
He looked so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting how they actually, what they're going to ask him on cross. Because it's like, if he's there regularly,
Yeah.
he's no longer just a neighbour, he's a friend, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to see them in their, a lot of the time in their natural habitat, so to say.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, like, unless the hospital's lawyer, the woman, unless she tries to bring up or get him to talk about how Beata was behaving around Maya, because that's the legal basis that they had for seizing Maya, that she was being abused medically, like medical abuse of a child. So unless they can bring up at the very least one or two instances where this guy who was there, he's not a family member, you know, he's classed as a neighbour, and Jack's friend, he's not Beata's friend, I don't think. So unless they're able to get him to bring up different instances of where he saw Beata behaving in what could be considered a abusive manner, they have no foundation. The jury's, I think the jury's more likely to side with the Kowalskis.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on it?
Yeah. It's basically the same. It's like
The papers.
yeah.
Yeah,
The papers cut through my head.
Yeah, so we have it muted, so we just, you know, talk between cross or like at an end. We try to anyway. But every time the papers just, but it was like right in the mic's ear, like it's just, ugh.
Yeah, it was driving me nuts.
Well, should we continue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
I just have a few questions. It sounds like you've known the Kowalskis for a long time, and you're a really good, supportive friend, or at least you try to be. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to draw your attention back to the July 3rd, 2015 incident at the house that you talked about.
Okay.
Okay. We're on the same page? Okay.
Yes.
My understanding from what you've said is that you didn't actually see anything happen to Maya, correct?
Correct.
And in fact, at the time you heard this noise you described, you didn't even know it was Maya. Is that fair?
When I first walked in the house, yes.
When you actually heard the noise that you described, you didn't know that it was Maya. Is that correct?
No, I after about 10 seconds quickly put it together that it was Maya. When
Oh,
I
you
first
did?
walked in the house, I just thought it was some random kids just making some god-awful noise.
Oh, I must have misheard. I thought you said you figured it was one of Jack's kids, but I didn't know that you had determined that it was Maya.
But whether it was within 10 seconds or 30 seconds or yes, but the other parents and adults there as they were filtering out, yes, it was very quickly realizing it was Maya.
Okay, all right. But as far as what you know, you didn't know of anything physical that had occurred to cause that noise, correct? And as far as it could have been a panic attack for all you know from what you've heard. Is that fair?
I wouldn't classify it that way, but
Okay.
I'd say no.
Can we agree that you don't know what caused
Absolutely.
her to have that,
Yes.
to make that noise? Is
Yes.
that fair?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I want to focus on the time frame. So just to put us on the same page, Maya's admission to the Johns Hopkins All Children's was October of 2016.
Okay.
Okay. My understanding is that you were aware that they had gone for some treatment back in November of 2015.
I don't remember the exact times
Okay.
and dates,
But do you remember them going somewhere for treatment?
yes.
And I think I heard you say you figured it was going to be one and done. They were going to do that treatment, and then that was going to take care of everything.
I think it was after the fact when we saw her, what was to me being perceived as much better than before she went. I just thought, oh, this is a big, expensive one and done treatment, and this helps clear up whatever it was.
Okay. All right. So are you aware of all of the treatment that she was getting between, let's say, December of 2015 and October of 2016?
Very minimally. So not in detail, no.
Your knowledge is very minimal, is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay. And can you describe what Maya's condition was in the weeks leading up to going to Johns Hopkins?
Before she went in? Right before, you mean?
Yes, sir.
She seemed to be getting better and recovering, getting stronger. Specifically, like, what I can really speak to is strength in her legs, because I just distinctly remember her crawling around, using her arms to get around. Something about legs, putting pressure on legs or using legs either hurt. So there was this avoidance of using legs.
Okay. So is it correct, though, that she never walked again between December of 2015 and entering into Johns Hopkins?
I don't recall.
You don't recall one way or the
I
other?
don't recall one way or the other.
Okay. Do you have any knowledge, sir, about what Maya's condition was, or on the day before she went into Johns Hopkins?
No, I don't recall specifically.
Now, since Maya's been discharged and been home and leading up to today, you certainly have noticed that Maya's been able to participate in ice skating. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay. And other activities, correct?
I knew she did ice skating.
Is that the only thing you're aware of?
Yes.
Okay. Are you aware of how good she's doing in school?
Everybody's aware of that.
Okay. All right. 1 minute, please.
But you, so far, haven't had any contact.
Hold on a second, Mr.
I'm sorry, are we done?
No further questions.
Sorry.
Mr. Anderson?
No questions.
Sir, you can go ahead and be excused.
So, you talk, I'm eating a biscuit.
One thing I just thinking on is like, she's like, the way she asked the last question, he says, did you see how good our treatments was? But what he said was that when she got home, she was definitely worse than she came in there.
Wait, her last question. That was about her activities.
Yeah, but it sounded like...
look how well we did.
Yeah, but what he said when she got home from Hopkins, there was barely nothing on Maya. I was sitting here.
Wait, hang on, what?
Like Maya, she was very thin and...
So the hospital is saying is that she was malnourished and underweight, both of them. But for some fucking reason, they let Carl stay in the house. Go figure. It's not as if the abuse, if there was any, was going to not get any worse. Like, let's just leave a child in a dangerous situation. Whatever. So that's what the hospital was saying. But he, Brandon, I believe his name is? Yeah. Brandon, the neighbour, this guy, he's saying that they always had snacks, that, they always had food. Everything was, it was always stocked. They always had stuff.
Yeah.
And, they were fairly healthy and active.
Yeah.
So...
But when Maya came back from the Hopkins hospital...
He said the only way to describe it was emaciated.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting word to use.
Mm.
But I mean... I find it very strange because I'm having a memory of the hospital saying that she was underweight. It was their opening statement that she was underweight when she came in, and during her time being there, she had put on weight. Now, when you, I think it's when you lose muscle mass, and you're not active, if you have a very sedentary lifestyle, you will just naturally put on weight. Because you're not active, you're not burning off any calories. So it's not a healthy lifestyle at all.
No.
But you could have far less calories and still put on weight because you're not moving. You're not burning anything. You're not developing it. I'm not a physical expert or anything like that by any means, but that's just, I could be wrong. But that's essentially it. If you're not exercising your muscles, it's just not it's not going to have a good outcome.
No.
You're just going to put on weight. They had 24-hour surveillance footage of Maya. Yeah. So it's just like, if she wasn't doing all that much in the hospital, of course she's going to put on weight. Plus also, the hospital, depending on what it is, so if they deem a child, and it also depends on what system are they using to make that determination. Is it their own criteria? Because their own criteria, they deemed that she was being abused by their own criteria. It wasn't, is it?
Yeah.
They deemed by their own codes, which on the legal standard, but it's just like, if you were to look at the standard definition of what obese is, or what underweight is, or malnourished, they might have, it hasn't been clarified, but they might have a different standard of what malnourished is. It could be that active kids like Maya and Kyle, they might be deemed as malnourished because they don't have a certain percent of fat, but they're very active. And if that's the case, then pretty much majority of bodybuilders would be considered malnourished.
Yeah, but one thing I find funny with the Hopkins, I think it was Hopkins that was that, but basically the ones that was making decisions and shit for Maya.
Yeah.
They didn't even work there.
Oh no, that was CPS, I believe. So Catherine Beattie, who is the social worker stationed at the hospital but doesn't work for the hospital, she's just there, who followed Maya across multiple floors, which we'll hear more about when Maya talks about it, and when other hospital members talk about it. This is just from what I know. It was the court who wasn't there, who wasn't getting Maya's actual physicians. So I think it's Dr. Hannah, isn't it? Her actual medical team, who were giving her these ketamine prescriptions and any other drugs that she was on for her condition. He wasn't getting accurate reports from them. He wasn't even and he was the one that was deciding, to me it just sounds ridiculous, and I don't want to believe that that's what it is, and I think I'm misremembering it. But he was deciding on what can happen with Maya. But he's not a physician. That's why it doesn't make any sense. I think it was just the hospital was also deciding, but it's kind of like the hospital is like, well, we weren't deciding anything. It was the cause. Okay, why were you as medical professionals not deciding on the medical care and consulting with the family, the parents of the child? Why are you letting a judge who has no medical history, he's not a medical professional, has no credentials nor expertise in the medical field? Why are you letting him? It'll be like someone. If you've seen me, you would know. I'm chunky, and I love my food. But it'll be like someone. It'll be like the local council here saying to me, "Oh yeah, no, you can decide the kids' nutrition value
Yeah.
and their exercise," I'll be like, "Yeah, great." I'm completely unqualified. It doesn't know. You can't do that. And I'm like, ugh. But again, sorry, I've gone on to a side tangent. This guy was a good witness. He was very calm, but you could see some points where he was getting uncomfortable with certain topics.
But Hopkins reeks of high chaparral style. No one knows.
High shop what?
Yeah, it's like Wild West.
Yeah.
You can come in there with a broken leg, and instead of sending up leg experts, they're sending in a taxi driver. It's like, okay.
Yeah, and also the thing as well that's becoming more and more apparent is that the judge is heavily on corporation side. And this case is over 30 days long. We're only on day 2. I am worried about getting more and more pissed off with this judge's poor decisions. Because I don't know what it is. It's just I get really pissed off when authority try and take over, and just authority and corporations. I don't do well with that. Like, I'll listen if it's reasonable, but if you're telling me to go over from this side of the grass to the other side of the grass and it's like 2 steps, I'm like, no, it's fucking ridiculous. Check your ego. But we'll see. But yeah, should we get going?
Yeah.
Right. So we'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching this far if you have. Leave your comments down below if you have any. If you don't, fine. Leave a like if you want. Leave a dislike if you want. Subscribe if you want. All of that jazz and all of that stipping. Yeah, there'll be a link for day 2 of this trial for Law and Crime Network, and the Reddit post that'll give you everybody who is on this case. Well, that comes up during this trial. But yeah, stay hydrated, wear sunscreen. I mean, you can eat yellow snow. I wouldn't, but freedom. Anyway, what you got?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say so much, but pet the cat and Woolaloo.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.